It's Tuesday, and welcome to our second quote roundabout. If you're new here, I talk a lot about roundabouts, partially because there are 200 roundabouts in Hamilton County. And so every other Tuesday, we will be going live to talk about all things Hamilton County and, of course, Indy and the surrounding areas. I'll be answering any questions that you have about the area as well. So make sure to put a question or a comment in the comment section, which I think is below. Still learning this since this is our second one. Shockingly, there are roundabouts going in and out. I don't even know what I mean by that. There are roundabouts that are being put in and roundabouts that, it's funny, I think there's actually a roundabout that's being taken out because there was a roundabout there, but it wasn't efficient. So they're taking it out. Don't really understand that. But today, let me click over real quick. Today, we are going to be talking about all things Hamilton County. We're going to talk about open enrollment. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. Give me just a second here. We'll get there at some point, you guys. At one point, we'll do this and it'll be smooth as butter, but it's not yet. So I don't know why. I'm not really sure why it's not. Nope. I can't get what I was going to talk about up on the screen today. You're not understanding what I'm wanting to do. So no, it's not that. Okay, anyways, we're just going to go on. So we're going to talk about essentially open enrollment. There was an announcement that Hamilton Southeastern is now offering open enrollment to any student that is outside of Hamilton counties or Hamilton Southeastern school district. So we're going to talk about that. What does it mean? Because I've actually had quite a few questions. We're going to talk about road construction projects, like I mentioned. They're actually halting one in Fisher, so we're going to talk about that. A city here in Hamilton County was also named the best place to live in the US. So we're going to talk about that. It probably isn't going to be a shocker for most of you. I talk about this city all of the time, and so it's probably not going to be a shocker. And then each week we decide that we're going to talk about the stats of Hamilton County and or Marion County, and then we're also going to show you houses in different cities. The last live we did was Fisher's. So today I'm going to show you 3 houses in 3 different price points in Carmel so that you can kind of get an idea. The goal of this, especially for clients who are relocating, is to show them what you can get at what price points, because we get that question a lot of, hey, I'm looking at this area. This is the amount that I want to spend. Can I spend that? Or can I get a house? And or what can I get in a house for that price? So we're going to talk about that. Of course, before we dive in the comment section, I want you to live where you're watching from, if you're watching live, and if you're watching this back at a later time, make sure to put where you're watching as well. We kind of like to know and or track where clients are moving from. We've had a lot from California. We've had a lot from Illinois. We've got actually quite a few from New York, which is interesting. I didn't think we would get that many clients from New York, but we are. And so it's nice to see where you're coming from. So leave a comment, and then please leave any questions you have. I know sometimes when clients call us, they will say, hey, I watched your video. I have a question. I would love any questions. I'll answer any question. And if I don't know the answer, then I will find the answer and I will then do it on the next live. So, okay. So first topic, and so let's see if I can make sure that I can run this smoothly this time. I'm going to add, well, I thought I was going to add see, every week it's going to be different. This screen now looks different from what I'm looking at. And so if I click on this, it doesn't give me to. Okay. Let's see if that works. Okay. I'm going to make that one bigger. Okay, so first we're going to talk about this big ordeal with Hamilton Southeastern opening up their enrollment. Now, most of the schools around us don't have open enrollment. Hamilton Southeastern is a very popular school district. And so this is kind of a shocking news topic because we've always had where it was closed off to any outside resident. So if you lived, let's say you lived in Noblesville and there was a program that you really liked and you wanted your kids to attend Hamilton Southeastern, even though you're in Hamilton County, you can't. But they decided to add it as an option. So a couple things, because we're getting questions about this. I actually had a client call me and say, hey, I was looking at Fishers, but now I'm not looking at Fishers because I'm concerned with how it's going to affect my child if they are going to Fishers, any of the Fishers schools. And I said, okay, well, but what do you mean? I need to understand so I can help. And he said, well, I'm concerned about the student to teacher ratio because if they're opening it up. And so I wanted to be very transparent. And I thought this was a good topic to talk about because a lot of people don't understand. You read the headline, which is what everybody does. You read the headline and then you don't read the story. Now, I don't have a story because I didn't pull up a story because I wanted to show you straight from the horse's mouth, essentially what this means. So I went to Hamilton Southeastern School District's website, and you can see here it says non-resident transfers apply to HSE schools 25-26. And it kind of goes through like it was the Board of Trustees opened the doors for K through 12 students. Applications for non-residents transfer started on February 21st. And then the eligibility for criteria and the conditions. So you have to be a resident of Indiana, have no suspensions exceeding 10 days or expulsions within the previous 12 months, have not been suspended or expelled within the last previous 12 months for possession of firearm, causing physical injury, violence, demonstrate a history of consistent you have to demonstrate a history of consistent attendance, be in good standing. Transportation. So this is interesting. You won't be able to get on a bus. Your parent or guardian is responsible for providing transportation for approved transfers. Timely and safe transportation is mandatory. Clearly, if you're late, you're going to get dinged. Transfer students must comply with all school district and school rules for extracurricular activities, you know me and my words. If you have watched a few of our videos, I have fun with words and these braces aren't helping. Revocation, appeals, all that. So here's the thing. You have to apply. It doesn't mean you're going to make it. So it's not like you apply and everybody makes it. Okay. First off, there's also specifications with capacity. There are wait lists. Rolling admission. So it kind of talks if capacity is not reached by April 1st, the district will begin reviewing applications submitted after April 1st on a first come, first served basis. Non-resident students approved must remain in good standing and submit a transfer renewal form each year. So it's not, I think some people just thought the school just opened it up and you can apply and everybody makes it. And I think that's where my client was concerned of like, okay, if I have my kid in the schools, is it going to affect student teacher ratios, which I will get to. So here's the biggest thing that I want to bring your attention to, though. If you notice, here's the school and the grade vacancies. But if you see right down here, you're going to see the following schools are closed due to capacity: Deer Creek Elementary, Fall Creek Elementary, Southeastern Elementary, Fall Creek Intermediate, Riverside Intermediate, Hamilton Southeastern Intermediate Junior High, and Fall Creek Junior High, and Fishers High School. Okay. So not every school is open. And if you click on these, you're going to see there's only 4 spots in first grade. There's 19 in second, 28 in third. If you want to go to Fishers Junior High, there's only 7 openings for 7th grade and 8 openings in 8th grade. So it's not like the school just opened it up and said, here, let's have all of these kids come in. Yes, I think there was a budget restraint, which I think a lot of schools are running into this, especially with budget cuts and everything that's going on. And so there are concerns. I have a call into Fishers or Hamilton Southeastern School District to ask about their student to teacher ratio. I'm going to assume because they want to keep their A ratings with niche.com and all of these that track schools, because they are very much wanting to make sure the schools stay strong, they're going to keep the student to teacher ratio where it has been. This is just to keep up with the numbers of where they're at. Now, that's not official. I don't have the word from Hamilton Southeastern Schools, but once I do, I'll come back on and I'll talk about it on another live. But I think that was one of the big things that people kind of panicked of, like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Even locals were concerned about this exact thing. And so I wanted to state right out of the fact, you might want to go to Hamilton Southeastern School, but if it's one of the ones that is at the bottom of this list, you can't even get into them. Like Fishers High School is full. I haven't really talked about this on our channel, but how the schools are situated. There is a high school, or there's a junior high, that Riverside, that is on the far west side of Fishers. And I would say the majority of kids are slotted to go to Fishers High School. So what happens is you have one opportunity in Hamilton Southeastern School District where you get to pick which high school you want to go to. So your 8th grade year, they're going to send out an email and they're going to let your kids know that they get to pick which high school they want to go to. Do you want to go to Fishers High School? Do you want to go to Hamilton Southeastern High School? Because Riverside has so many kids that go to Fishers, a lot of the 8th graders want to stay with their friends, so they pick Fishers High School, okay? Well, that means Fisher High School is at its capacity, which leaves HSC open. So how many people, so just out of curiosity, there's 30 only in 9th grade, okay? So if you have a sophomore, junior, or senior, sorry, no luck. There's 30 openings for 9th grade. That's it. So I just wanted to squash that because we are having a lot of questions specifically about this topic. And so I wanted to address it right out of the gate. So there's the first one. Next up, we're going to talk about what city. Now, this is travel and leisure. Travel and leisure. Oh, and if you have any questions about the schools or our kids, I talk a lot. This mic is really annoying because it's like, so we're going to push it out. Our kids go to Fishers High School. So all I'm going to say is I need to find a good spot for this, you guys. Growing pains. Anyways, Adam will tell me if that's a good spot to be in. Anyways, because he'll listen to it when he gets back into the room. I moved the mic, so can you tell me if I sound okay? Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, leave a comment below if you have any questions about the school or the district. It's probably the one that I know the most about, but I have to admit, because I've lived here for over 30 years, I know a lot pretty much about all of Hamilton Southeastern school districts. Hamilton County, see, they make it so difficult. Hamilton Southeastern, Hamilton County schools. So Fishers, Carmel, Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, and then also some of the other schools, Hamilton Heights, Hamilton Heights. So that'll give you a good idea. But if you have any questions, let me know. Next topic, like I started and then squirreled for you guys. Is Travel and Leisure named the Midwest city as the best place to this city as the best place to live in 2024. Now, I talk a lot about this city, okay? Like probably too much about this city, but it is a very popular. I don't know why I did that. There we go. Nope. Well, I'll just leave that up. It is a very popular city. Everybody that does a search on the interwebs will find this city because when you search where to live in Indiana or where's affordable or where's the best place to live, this city comes up. Can you guess it? Put a comment if you know what city I'm about to talk about. Whenever a client calls me and says, "Hey, I'm interested in this city," I sometimes will say, "Okay, it's great, but there are also alternative cities that could be good, that could be less expensive, but yet still close to the city." So have you guessed? I wonder if anybody's guessed. If you've guessed Carmel, again, you are correct. I am going to share my screen and I'm going to show you this article that named Travel and Leisure. Which does anybody read Travel and Leisure? I've gotten the Travel and Leisure magazine a couple times, like you see it in the store and you're like, "Oh my gosh, that place looks amazing." And then you look it up and you're like, "That is amazing because it costs so much money." That's me, but I always like to dream big. Okay. So as you can see here, let me swap these out again. This Midwest city was just named the best place to live in the US for 2024. For safety, affordable housing, and excellent schools make this mid-sized city the best in the nation. This came out May 8th of 2024, as I'm just now realizing, you guys. It got announced in Carmel like 2 weeks ago, so clearly this isn't new news, but it's news. Okay. I think there was a different article that came up. Anyways, if you're contemplating moving to another city in search of affordable housing and great schools, two usually mutually exclusive categories, consider the Midwest. According to livability.com, which we go to Livability quite a bit when we do some of these videos to kind of get the stats of what people think and what Livability thinks. According to livability.com's newest list of the best small to mid-sized cities to live in America, Carmel, a community in Hamilton County, Indiana, ranks the highest for housing, health, and economy. So I'm curious. I think I'm going to get two different responses on this, depending on where you are when watching this. If you live in Hamilton currently, you're going to say affordability does not exist. If you live outside of Indiana and or Hamilton County, and you're coming from California, Arizona, Texas, depending on where you're at, Illinois, if you're like an outskirts of Illinois person, you're going to think that Carmel is affordable. I'm going to talk about Carmel when we get to the stats aspect. And so again, I'm probably going to ask you what you think. Like, do you actually think we're affordable? It's funny, if you go to my Instagram, Cameron the Realtor, I've posted some houses where I will post a house that say is like 400,000 or 500,000. And even there was one that I posted in Fishers that was 700,000. And it blew up because all of the locals were like, "That house is ridiculous. That house should only be like 300,000. There's no way houses in Indiana are worth that." And so I get the locals' opinion, right? Because I'm a local. I get it. The first house I ever bought, I built it. It was a new construction home. It was $138,000. And currently right now, if it was listed right now, it would probably be, because it was an 1,800 square foot ranch, it would be about 300,000, 275. And it's shocking to me as a local to think of that house being that much. And yet I had a client that was in town. This was probably 2 months ago. It was January. We're now in April. So let's call it 3 months. Ooh, wow. Is it already April? Okay. Anyways, we were looking houses that were ranches that were between 1,600 and 2,000 square feet in Hamilton County, and they were going between $275,000 and $325,000. And to me, that's shocking. To them, they were like, this is a steal from where they're coming from. They like that amount of house would be like a shack with one bedroom, no garage, and would be awful. So it just depends on the perception of the buyer. Anyways, so this article is it's pretty interesting because it kind of talks about the housing. Carmel house prices stand at, livability only ranks destinations where the median home value is 500 or less. And in Carmel, house prices stand at 380. They're not at 380 right now, you guys. And then while the median monthly rent is 1177, it's not that. It's going to be higher than that. So, but I thought it's a great article. I wanted to talk about Carmel because, again, we talk about Carmel in our videos a lot because that's where everybody starts. I am curious if anybody is watching that currently lives in Carmel, what their thoughts are about Carmel. We've sold many homes in Carmel. Everybody that I sell a home in Carmel loves it. I just always challenge buyers to consider alternative options depending on what price point you're in. So if you're looking at that 350 to 400 range, there aren't that many options. And so that can be challenging if you're wanting to be in Carmel. Okay. Next up, we are going to talk about roundabouts. Aren't roundabouts fun? Okay, so not all roundabouts are created equal. I have actually thought about doing a video. I have no clue how this would work, and Adam probably would literally hate me on what this would look like. But I've wanted to do a video on how to drive on a roundabout, but like each roundabout is different. Some, if you're on the far left lane and you go into the roundabout, then you can't turn off of the roundabout because there's only certain ones that you can go to. Some roundabouts, you have to like merge into one lane, like you'll be in one lane and all of a sudden if you want to get off, you can't actually get off and it's just, you guys, it's a shit show is what it is sometimes. And so that's why I say not all roundabouts are created equal. And it can get really frustrating if you're not from here to know what to do. And funny enough, even if you're from here, the new roundabouts, they're making changes to them and altering how you can enter and exit. And I also learned, so here in Indiana, I'm just going to let you know, if you're not from here and you come and visit, nobody uses their turn signal to tell you if they're getting off of a roundabout, which I recently learned is not actually the correct way to drive on a roundabout. You should turn on your turn signal to let them know that you're getting off of the roundabout. I don't like using my turn signal, so I vote for Indiana's way. But I'm going to tell you right now that people from, let's say, Europe who go on roundabouts all the time, they're going to tell you we're doing it wrong. So there is one roundabout that is being stalled. So you guys, I have to get used to how this is organized. It was organized different last week. Okay, here we go. IBJ. I'm going to swap this back. I used to try to be an IBGA person where I wouldn't pay, but then I could never read the stories and it annoyed the crap out of me. So here I am paying for IBJ because that's what you guys care about when you watch a live with Cameron. Okay. Fisher's delays building roundabout at 116th Street in Allisonville Road until 2026. Now, everybody got really excited because this is an intersection that honestly is awful. It's always congested. If you type it into your GPS, at least for us, when you're on Google Maps or whatever it is I use, because I don't really know, it's red every time you get to 116th Street in Allisonville. So you can see here, so to give you perspective, there used to be a Kroger that now is on the other side of the street. They tore down this corner because it used to be business buildings. We have no clue what's going to do with that. There's a Dunkin' Donuts. It's a great intersection. Tons of stuff. great restaurants, all sorts of stuff. Anyways, it was perfect for a roundabout. They planned it. They said they were going to do it. Now they're postponing it. But why are they postponing it? Well, in the article, it says they're postponing it because they're working on the 146th Street Nelsonville Road one, which that one is a crazy one as well because they're doing this whole overpass and there was a bridge that went over the White River right there. So there was a lot that had to be done at that intersection, and it appears to be taking longer than it should. And then they're also working on the 141st Street and 37 roundabout, which if you're a local, they're trying to make where 37 you can just drive straight on and not have to deal with all the stoplights because there were a lot of stoplights on 37. So I know that in the end, it's going to be great. It's going to be an awesome change, but we have to get through that before we can go to Allisonville on 116th Street. So I was kind of bummed about that, but there's your roundabout news of the week. Then next topic, which again, I'm not even looking at comments. So if anybody's left a comment, I don't know if you have, because I'm so new at this, I don't know what I'm doing. If you have a comment, make sure to leave a comment or question or whatever. I want to try to at least make sure that I'm getting those questions and answering them. And or again, if you're watching it at a later time, ask the question because I'll address it on the next Tuesday live. Okay. Next topic is what is coming to town. So I know I talk a lot about Fishers, but I'm actually going to talk about Carmel with something that actually has been an amazing thing in Fishers. And I really wanted it to be where Fishers was the only one that had it, but sure enough, Carmel has to come in and get one too. So let me bring that one up. Actually, let me close that. Ah, there it is. So, current and Fishers. So the executive chef at 1933 Lounge, who has been a chef, it says, with the company for 13 years. Let me swap those out. He is now going to be the executive chef here for the 1933 on Range Line, and it just opened. I have seen Instagram posts of people who have been in to the location. It's actually one of my favorite locations in Fishers. It's at the Yard. It is a St. Elmo's establishment. So if you like shrimp cocktail, they have an amazing shrimp cocktail. And so now they're going to have one in Carmel. So we're not unique and have the only 1933 anymore. Carmel now has a 1933 in Carmel, and then they stole the chef. Kind of sad, but excited for Carmel. So there you go. Fun times for Carmel. They get a 1933. You've got to go try them out. It's really good. Okay, next up on the what is coming to Fishers. You guys, I'm excited about this one because it'll be the first one. I want to say the first one in Indiana. It's going to be in Noblesville. I actually put a message on my Instagram about this one because we are getting a Dutch Brothers, which is the coffee place to compete with all the other coffee shops that we have, because we have a lot of coffee shops. But they broke ground. I'm so excited. So I wanted to pull this up. This is, anybody can go to this website. This is Argus, which is, it shows location. So I'm going to show you a couple things. So here, right here is where the Dutch Bros, and I don't know if it's technically Dutch Brothers or Dutch Bros. Yo, bros. Fist bump. Anyways, This is 146th Street. So we were just talking about 37. This is 37. So remember, they're working on the roundabout right here for 141st and 37. It's going to be right off of 37 and 146th Street, right across from Costco. So this is Costco. This is Dutch Bros. It's going to be in the parking lot. I mean, it's not in the parking lot, but it's in the parking lot. Anyways. But guess what else is right across the street from there? They haven't broke ground yet, or at least I haven't seen them break ground. Let me click on this. Oh, you can already see it. It's Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A is going to be at the corner of 37 and 146th Street. So Dutch Bros, you grab your coffee, you go to Costco, you get your Costco stuff, then you go to Chick-fil-A for lunch. I mean, I don't know what's better. There's a Starbucks. Here, we're going to talk about this. There's a Starbucks right here. Hopefully you can see that. There's a Starbucks right here. You guys, there's a Starbucks right here. It's like one of these. There's a Starbucks. If I go back up here, there's a Starbucks right here. There's Starbucks everywhere, you guys. And now we're going to have a Dutch Bros that's going to be competing with them, which I think is amazing. I am excited about it. That's the CVS. So Costco, CVS, Dutch Bros, Chick-fil-A. Did I mention there's a Chick-fil-A within literally there's 2 of them within 5 minutes of this Chick-fil-A. Shockingly, I love Chick-fil-A, but do we really need another Chick-fil-A? I really don't think that we do, but it is what it is. Okay. Next up, again, don't forget to put, if you're a local, put a comment below. If you know of something that's coming, I'd love to announce it or at least address what that means for the community. Ultimately, that one, there's not much that is going to affect the community because it's on 37. That's all commercial land. And so there isn't really anything that's going to be changing there. But we're going to talk about statistics. So let me pull that one up so that we can talk about what is going on in Hamilton County and the surrounding areas so that you can kind of know how things are moving and shaking. Okay. And we'll swap this out. So every week I'm going to start with Hamilton County. Again, partially because most of our viewers and or people are looking at Hamilton County. If you have a question about any of the other Boone, Hancock, Hendricks, like if you want questions about Marion, any of the counties, let me know. We can talk about those. I just mostly focus on Hamilton County, partially because most of the people relocating are looking at Hamilton County, and most of the people that watch our channel locally are from Hamilton County. So, but I have people from all over. Somebody asked me, how far will you sell a house? And last year we sold a house in Terre Haute. So it doesn't matter where it's at. We pretty much will sell or help a buyer or a seller anywhere in the Indianapolis. So here's the image. So Indianapolis, the loop, right? So the main loop, but then you have the donut county. So anywhere that's on, essentially anything you can see behind me, we can help anybody out. I love that map. I now have used it when I'm doing like calls with clients, like, okay, we're here and you're looking here. So it's kind of fun. Okay. So Hamilton County, I did from last month to this month, and I'm going to show you a couple of different things specifically on a month-to-month basis versus a from year to year. So we're going to start month to month. So currently the median in Hamilton County, the median sales price is $433. So that's where it goes back to. And let me switch actually to, we're going to get rid of all and look at Clay. So see how it went from 433 to 532. So the median price in Carmel, that article clearly, right, was dated on on their numbers because it's showing at 532. Now that is down from last month, but if I switch it to year, it's also down from last year. Okay. So that kind of just shows you where we're at. I have clients that call me all the time and say, hey, our budget is in the 400s. We want to be in Carmel. Now I'm going to show you, you can find stuff in Carmel, but it's a lot harder. Right. So let me go back to all counties real quick so that we can look at all of Hamilton County. But 433, 344 units sold, but there were only 397 that were listed. So that gives us an 11-day on market statistic, which you guys, that is still super fast. That clearly is showing that it's a seller's market. That clearly means that, now I'm going to preface this, houses that show well, are maintained well, priced right, because there's still a lot of sellers that are wanting to price their homes higher, and are marketed well, they're going fast. They're going in 11 days. And honestly, if I really dove even further into this, which give me a call if you do want deeper stats, because I love stats. It's one of my favorite things, is to look at the data to determine and to pinpoint when things are moving and how the market is shifting. So active inventory from last month is actually up, which is 493, which is not unusual. We're heading into a spring market. We're going to see more houses. If you're thinking about listing, my opinion, you need to list, well, yesterday, ASAP, because the more houses hit the market, the more buyers are also going to be hitting the market. And so you need to be aware of what that's going to look like for you as a seller and as a buyer, right? I would be looking now and maybe allow the seller to rent the home back or whatever so that you can still get the house, not be competing with other people. So there's strategy both for buyers and sellers of what that looks like. Okay, so that's Hamilton County. I do want to show Marion County because, again, that kind of is what most data that you're going to see through the news outlets of what it is. So the average median sales price, sorry, I'm still a little stuffy, so I'm rubbing my nose a lot. The median sales price is 245, but you can see there's a bigger difference, right? 23 days on market, 933 new listings, and only 644 that sold. I need to blow my nose, you guys. So I'm going to turn around so you don't stare at me blowing my nose. We are officially in the weather of Indiana where it is balls cold at 20 to 30 degrees. And then some days it's at 60 or 70. And so if you are someone who has allergies, here you go. This is what you get because Indiana can't figure itself out and determine what temperature it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's really interesting. The other thing that I wanted to flip over, let me go back to Hamilton County so that I want to look at per month versus year over year. So see how that didn't change? It was 433 a year ago versus 433 now. So we're the same as we were. So for those clients or those sellers that, sometimes are like, hey, we feel like the values have gone up. Values are holding right where they should be. They're not really going up, but they're also not going down. So I think that's good from last month that they might be down a little bit, but I think this is good with interest rates in the sixes. It's a great time to kind of see where things are ebbing and flowing and the market's holding strong. So next we're going to show you 3 houses. And so what I did was I picked each week, I'm going to kind of pick a low, mid, and high. So you can kind of see what you're looking at. Again, last Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays ago, we did Fishers. And so today we're doing Carmel. Again, partially because so many people look at Carmel as an option to move to. So the first property that we're going to look at is a pretty interesting property. And I'm going to talk about it for a couple of reasons. switch that over. Okay, so first off, it's in Carmel on College Place. It's listed for 335. So see how it's already considerably lower than what the median price currently is. Um, you can see though that it's been on the market for 68 days, right? And I question what, first off, okay, 68 days. A lot of buyers are going to be like, what's wrong with it? Right? That's unfortunate of a home that sits on the market. There's that stigma of like, what's wrong with it? But you guys, I think ultimately it probably started too high as a price. You can see here the original list price was $350,000. So it probably started too high. And so it didn't get as many views or looks or whatever, right? It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's a cute little ranch. And okay, it's a 1-car garage versus a 2-car, but you have a yard. Okay, maybe it's not the best looking yard, but that's easy. That can be changed. It's a brick house. Like, look at all that brick. You could find a house that isn't as old, that doesn't even have some of the character that this one has. Look at it. It's clean. Fresh start, right? They've painted it white. It looks like they've even updated the kitchen with painted cabinets, and the countertops look like they've been refreshed, or at least it looks like more of a stone instead of like a laminate countertop. I mean, gray cabinets. Oh, that's kind of a cool idea. That looks like a tool, like a tool. What would that be called? A tool box, but it's not really a box. A rolling tool thing. That's kind of cool, where it's got like a butcher box top. Kind of like that idea. But you can roll it around and get it out of the way. Like, that's the benefit, right? It looks like it's got a cord for electricity. You guys, if you're wanting in Fishers, right? In Carmel, then at this point in time, this is about as low as it gets. Now, with that being said, I did pull some stats because, again, stat girl. The next least expensive house in Carmel is $399,000. That's a lot of money. That's like a 60. I'm not quick with math, you guys. That's like a $65,000 difference. And so if you look at the house that is $399, I'm not going to say that it's really all that better, but in the last 90 days, there's only been 14 homes that have been under 300,000. And they've all gone within seconds, because if you're in Carmel and you want a less expensive house, then, to be under 300,000 is phenomenal. There were only 53 houses in the last 90 days that were between 300 and 400. So that kind of shows you, especially with how things are moving in Carmel, that if you're wanting to be in what I would say Travel and Leisure was really trying to hit at, or what a lot of people want to say is affordable, affordable to me, which it's shocking that I'm saying this, but from a nation perspective, it is in that 300 range, which is crazy because in this area, there used to be just a shit ton of $300,000 houses. They're just few and far between. But I think that this is, Carmel has so much to offer. Again, Carmel, I say Hamilton County. I'm not one to just say Carmel is the best, like Travel and Leisure. I think Carmel has a lot of benefits about it, but I think Hamilton County is the best. Like, I wish that they would start doing it by county, because I think we have a phenomenal county. And if you live in any of the neighboring cities, you're a 15, 20, maybe 30. If you're like really far east and want to get far west of Carmel, you're a 30-minute drive. So for most people, that's really close. So that's the first house. I really liked it. I thought it was super cute, and has potential, especially with being able to go to Carmel schools and be close to Carmel. So one of the things I do always, how do I get out of that? Recommend when you look at listings. So just as a reminder, I'll try to remind people each week. especially for new people watching, is I always recommend you go down to the map to scroll in to see where it's at. So this is North College. So you're actually not on, it looks like North College. You're actually a couple of, well, one house in, which is honestly nice because then you're not going to have all of the traffic of North College. So it's always good to kind of see where it's at and what it has to offer. So there's that one. The next one, we're going a little bit higher at this point, but I thought this was another interesting property that I found. It's listed at 709. Again, I'm going to tell you, whenever you see days on market, this shows, sorry, let me flip that over. This says 47 days on market. So whenever you see any extra days on market, I will say it's probably because it started out too high of a price. It is a trend that I'm seeing across the board. And it can hurt you, unfortunately. So it's been on the market for 47 days. It looks like it started at 725. It now is at 709. 3,000 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, an older built home. This is actually in Woodland Springs. It's one of my favorite older neighborhoods because you're just on the other side of Keystone, which I'll show you here in a minute. But you're really close to the hub of Carmel with, the Art and Design District, Palladium, all of the things that are going on. And it's such a cute home. So they clearly have redone it. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of the orange wood. I might have gone more of a neutral wood, but those are things, again, that I would say could be changed, right? You sand it, you restain it. And the pictures might be making it look. So anytime I have a client that's like, well, I'm not sure about this color, let's go and see it, because almost always we go and see it and it's like, oh, that's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm also someone that's going to tell you like the truth about what I see in the house, what's going on, what are concerns. And so that's one thing that I'm like, not my favorite, but again, can be changed. Side load garage, which is great. Big lot, it appears. Well, this neighborhood has decent lot sizes, but when we get inside, look how neutral it is. It looks like it's been staged, but it's got kind of not white walls, but like a toned taupe, which is great. It can go with anything. It definitely would be then considered a move-in ready home. This is considered a tri-level. So you've got half the amount of steps versus like 15 to 20 steps. You have what it looks like 8, and then you have 8 to go to the basement as well. So some people love that because then they're not having to run all the way up or down the stairs, but still get that feel. They clearly have opened it up because with tri-levels, you normally wouldn't always have this open of a space. You normally would just have a doorway. So it looks like they've done quite a bit to update it. The kitchen looks like it's been updated with painted countertops, new backsplash, new countertops, the gold fixtures, which are always great. You guys, I think this is a great house. Tri-levels sometimes can take a little bit longer to sell just because some people don't like them. But then on the flip side, I have clients that are like, I would love to be able to have a tri-level because, I don't want to have to be running up and down the stairs. I always love when I go through pictures and I'm like, okay, photographer, you need to move your shoes. Like, take 2 seconds, move your shoes. Anyways, those are little things that I'm sure it was same with that. Like if I got up here and I was like taking this picture, I would move the car. Just little things that we do that might take a little bit longer, but it just shows better when you have the pictures. So this is really cute. Like the bathrooms are updated. Look at the basement, or I guess you would call it, see, like that damn car. The basement is the walkout to the backyard. And I'm assuming that it also then connects to the garage from that. But like they updated all the bathrooms. You guys, great property. I don't know why this is sitting other than because it's cute. It's in a good neighborhood, which I'll show you that. So let me go to location because I do think it's a phenomenal location. So I'm going to zoom out so you can see this is Keystone. Okay, this is 116th Street. So this is kind of older Carmel, kind of. But there's tons of shopping. You can see Flicks, Brew House, the water park is right here, and then Chris Kindle Market and Main Street Carmel is right here. So you're like a 5-minute drive, maybe 10 or 15-minute if you take the trails. Because you could probably walk to the Monon to be able to jump on the trail. That's that 22-mile trail. But it's close to the flowing well, which is a great little spot where you can get natural water. So you can take your milk jugs and fill them up or your stuff. There's just so much. Kroger is right there. Wolfie's Grill, so good. So it's just close. Oh, the cake bake. You need to watch some of my favorite things of Carmel. I think it's on one of our other videos that you can click on so that you can see like some of our favorite restaurants, and cake bake is just amazing. You feel like you're in Disneyland. Anyways, great location, great home. Again, it's dropped in price. It maybe could drop in price more, but one of the strategies we use when a buyer is looking at a house, if you don't want to compete with people, look at something like this, because most likely these sellers have now been on the market for more than 30 days. And so maybe they're willing to do some negotiating and or work with you on what that looks like. So I'm always game for calling the agent, having a conversation, and kind of seeing what that looks like. Okay, so last but not least, we are going to show you a bougie house. I do love walking houses, and I struggled with this one this week because there are so many different styles of quote higher end homes in Carmel. And the house that I'm showing you today is a little bit different because it's in an area that some people love, and some people are like, I would never live there because you have no yard. Um, but we are showing you a home in the villages of West Clay. And so, or the village of West Clay. So again, probably on another episode, I'll show you a house that's like on a golf course and is massive, backs up to the golf course and is beautiful. But this is a little bit of a different type of vibe. You have to want this vibe to pay $1.8 million for this house. I know I'm probably going to get some hate in the comments if anybody watches this long, because a lot of people are like, well, why would you pay $1.8 million for a house where the garage essentially is on the back or the side? Because I don't know where it is on this one, but I mean, I get it. But you guys look at this. It's a 6-bedroom, 5.5 bath, almost 8,000 square feet. It's sitting at 7,700 square feet, built in 2007. The villages of West Clay, I'll show you on the map when we get there, but it's a completely different vibe. If you're not familiar with it, I do recommend that you drive that area. It's really cool to kind of drive through and see these massive houses, but yet it's the epitome of like, eat, work, play, right? Like if you have a job that is within the working area of villages of West Clay, and there's shops and dining and coffee and like all of the things really, really close, you never have to go anywhere. I actually mentioned the community 2 weeks ago that's going in, that's going to be built in Noblesville. It's not going to be like this in the sense of bougie, but it's kind of like one of those like master plan areas, not specifically community. This is area, not community. I'm talking so much, I gotta take a second to take a drink. Okay. So let's click on pictures first. So colonial-ish, it's traditional. Some people like that, some people don't. I think it's beautiful. I actually think, okay, I personally think this picture is not doing it justice, to be brutally honest with you. I think when you look at it, when you're in front of it, it's going to look a lot better. It almost is giving, um, oh my gosh, um, oh my gosh, what is the name of the movie? The Christmas movie. Home Alone vibes. It is giving Home Alone vibes, right? Like if the front step was just a little bit bigger and there was some railings, I can just see it. Like it feels very like with all the windows, like when he does the thing where the people are in the windows. Anyways, okay. Home Alone vibe. You want the Home Alone house? Look at this. So the garage, 4-car garage in the back. There is a courtyard, which is awesome. It actually looks like you have, I don't know if this yard attaches to this side area. I'm probably going to assume that this is common area. Again, this is a call that I would make to the agent to kind of feel some of this out. But your garage is in the back, so you don't have a whole lot of room, and you can kind of see like the neighbors. I mean, look at some of these houses. Some of them, it looks like they're on the side. So you maybe have a little bit more yard space than some of the others that are in the village of West Clay. But they've updated it. So, okay, let me go back. I want to remind you, this was built. Oh, where does it say? Oh, built 2007. My finger was on it. 2007. So I need you to put in your brain what a 2007 house would look like, because this is interior wise, which if you don't like this brick, paint it. I know people are going to hate on me for saying to paint the brick, but if you want a different vibe, a more modern vibe, paint the brick. I hate that I'm saying that because it's like painting brick, but when you get inside this house, look at this. I mean, look at the molding. They weren't doing this type of molding in '07 on top of cabinets. So these cabinets have been redone. That's a beautiful kitchen. Look at the countertops. Lighting looks like it's been updated. And that these are just my assumptions. I didn't look at the description because again, I look at the house, then I go to the description, and then I look at location. So that's kind of like my tiered of when I look at a house, because I can decide if I like a house literally within the first few pictures. That's why we strategize so much on what the first few pictures are. Some houses you'll see where they'll do like 10 pictures of the front or 10 pictures of the back of the house. I personally don't like that because I think you have a quick moment to be able to grab your buyer. And so that's something that is I think a strategy. Look at those floors. They weren't doing those in '07. Or if they were really ahead of their time, and kudos to them. I don't think that's the case, but I've been known to be wrong. This is gorgeous. Oh, look at that tile work. The gold fixtures, they weren't '07 was not gold fixtures in any way, shape, or form. If you put gold fixtures in a home in '07, they would think that you literally just dated a house in 2 seconds. And so again, this is what tells me like they've come in and updated this house in the village of West Clay. And it's just, I mean, that's a lot of clothes. But I'm impressed. Okay, I'm not a big fan of pictures like this because what did that just show you? I can see part of a staircase and part of a light. Okay, not my favorite. But you guys, I don't even really have a whole lot to like say bad about it. It's neutral, so you can come in and put any color you want. Palette. Okay, so here's where you're starting to see a little bit of the dated, right? Like you have the tan or taupe tile with a traditional mantle, and you know, like this is very traditional. This is very 2007. Same with like the granite that is part of the bar in the kitchen area. Like, okay, that feels a little dated, but who cares? It's in the basement. And it can be easily changed. Okay, see another. We go back outside to then go back inside. Anyways, this I'm assuming they did that because this is the part that's on the back side or a different part of the house. I don't know. I like to be able to know kind of how I flow through a house. So how you walk through a house is really good of how you put your pictures. So if you have an agent that's put the pictures all over, I would ask them to put them in order of how someone would walk the house. So you do the front of the house, you walk into the house, you do the foyer, then the kitchen, then the family room, and then you go how you walk a house. Um, we have found that that really works well. But you guys, okay, so this would indicate another thing they don't put like descriptions down here. I always recommend that somebody put like, this is the, what this is. This is the, alcove on the side of the home, or this is a yard next door that is part of the property or not part of the property. Like those are things, but I think it's a beautiful home. I think you have to evaluate. I mean, you actually do have a yard. The kids could play. So that's a huge advantage in the village of West Clay. So if I were looking in the village of West Clay and not everyone has a yard, this would be, if I wanted a yard but I wanted to live there, this is a great option because your kids could play in the green space and have plenty of room. So, I mean, this is great. I'll leave it up to you if you think that 1.8 million is too expensive or totally worth it. I think if you picked that up and you moved it to California or Colorado or any of these places, that house would be 3 to 5 million. Okay. So I always look at kind of the stats and what there is, but then again, you want to look at the location, right? So this is all part of the village of West Clay. So this whole section, Coxhall Garden is right there. I'm going to zoom out so you can kind of see it's fairly west Carmel, right? Carmel actually, well, I say it's west, but Carmel actually goes all the way to over here. And there are parts of right outside, like right down here is still considered Carmel, even though this is Zionsville. So great location. Great possibility. Let me go to the hybrid. The only reason I want to show you the hybrid, because I'm going to zoom in and this will show you. So this is the gas line. I'll zoom out. So there is a gas line that runs all the way through Carmel. So you can see where there's no trees or anything. I have quite a few clients that live, I said lots. I have quite a few clients that live on it. It's kind of nice because it's just a big open green space, but so you can see it backs up to part of that. But there's also a trail here that, not this road, but there's a trail that goes through. So you can jump on the trail. So here in this area, you're going to see a lot of these do have some yard, but like, look at this one. This has like no yard. This one has no yard. They put in a pool, so that's taking up space, but this one doesn't have a pool and it has no yard. So that kind of shows you what there is in and around the villages of West Clay. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of what you can purchase for in the 300s, the 700s, and then the 1.8, right? That's on the higher end, but wanted to kind of show you a variety of what there is. I don't know how to, give me a second. Let me close that out. Again, if you're watching, because I don't have any comments yet, I don't have anybody watching, but I probably have people watching, I just don't have anybody commenting. So if you're watching, you need to comment or ask me a question. I love questions because then I can engage with you all. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, every other Tuesday, so not next Tuesday, but the next Tuesday, I'm going to be jumping on live again. I'll bring topics about Hamilton County. I actually heard some news that I need to get clarification on for Indianapolis, so I'm working on that. And then we'll do another city. So I'll show you homes that are probably in Noblesville or Westfield, and then I'll probably branch out from there. So if there's a city that you're interested in, send me a comment. All of my contact information is below. So if you have any questions or want to see a house or want to talk, call, text, or email me, and you get me when you call. So if you have any questions, we'll answer those questions and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys. Now I'm going to stop recording.